The eternal conflict between sustainable use of resources and biodiversity conservation presents a new challenge to policymakers at the dawn of 2015. With the Millennium Development Goals being wrapped up by the United Nations in favor of a more realistic formulation of Sustainable Development Goals for the dawn of 2015, it is a new challenge for policymakers, especially in the South Asian context. The World Summit for Sustainable Development pledged in 2002 in Johannesburg to halt the loss of biodiversity by 2015. The IUCN study, IUCN Regional Biodiversity Program Asia, explains this further. The Millennium Development Goals were formally established when the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Millennium Declaration in 2002. They address issues of poverty eradication and sustainable development through a set of targets and dates. Achieving these targets is the responsibility of national governments. Yet, neither has the energy deficiency been met, nor has there been a halt to the loss of biodiversity because of human development. The most populous part of the planet is blessed with complex river systems that hydrate the ecology and landscape, running the hydrological cycle of the planet. Billions of people feed off the land watered by the mighty rivers like Ganges, Indus, Brahmaputra, Mekong, Yangtze-Kiang, Hongho, Irrawaddy, Kaveri, Krishna, Godavari, Narmada, Mahanadi, and Chaupraya and their tributaries. People in the most populous part of the planet depend on fresh water either for agricultural production or livelihoods tied to water security. With aims of inclusive development, huge dams have been built, but these huge reservoirs are eco-detrimental and defeat the very purpose of poverty eradication because of ecological unsustainability. When dammed, the rivers drain the catchment area of nutrients and silt, drowning forests and ecosystems that are homes to critically endangered wildlife.
So dams and then the mining activities, two important developmental activities are concerned. The primary loss is the forest itself. You lose a large extent of forest due to submergence. As far as the impact of this, other than the loss of forest on the wildlife is, many a times the movement, the migratory paths of the wild animals gets blocked. So thereby the habitat, the large habitat gets fragmented. The continuity gets broken basically. And this results in isolation of the animals, and then there is the locally there will be inbreeding, and then this inbreeding results in local extinctions of some of the species which are quite sensitive to this kind of changes.
Providing energy security sustainably for more than 4 billion people in South Asia is the real challenge staring at policymakers. Not harvesting the tidal energy generated by the flowing rivers implies draining 1,870 cubic kilometers of fresh water annually to the sea in the subcontinent alone. This catchment area of all the mighty rivers covers thick, wet evergreen rainforests, deciduous and pine forests, coastal ecosystems like mangroves, littoral forests, salt pans, sand dunes, and marshes. Indeed, all the world's ecosystems occur in the subcontinent. Against this water flow, India had an installed capacity to produce 37,567.4 megawatts of power with the construction of around 5,600 dams by March 2011. Himanshu Thakkar of the South Asia Network on Dams, Rivers and People maps out the subcontinent's water resources for us.
Total rainfall and snowfall in India is around 4,000 cubic kilometers. And out of that, 1,870 is what is utilizable. And out of that, around 2/3 is through surface water and 1/3 is through groundwater. See, there are around 14 large river basins in India, each of size more than 20,000 square kilometers. In addition, there are around 40 odd river basins which are between 2,000 and 20,000 square kilometers each, and then there are very large number of smaller river basins. There is a certain definition of a river. What is a river? Then there is a functions of a river, and if the river is not able to perform those functions, then we can say that the river is no longer living. So that catchment where it falls, if you are able to harvest that rain through small structures and recharge the groundwater, our water lifeline today is groundwater. Store the water that comes in the monsoon and make it available for the non-monsoon months. And as far as the storage is concerned, the groundwater aquifers are the most environmentally and socially benign storage option that we have. We must use that option, and that we can use if we harvest water it falls and recharge the groundwater and also store where in the surface to the extent possible. Then our rivers will continue to flow, they will recharge more groundwater, they will also protect the livelihoods and our deltas. It doesn't mean that you take no water from the rivers. You can still take certain amount of water, but ensure that the river itself continues to live, sustain both our people, society and the deltas.
If we have to retain the biodiversity cover of the planet, it is time indeed to take a fresh look at sustainable development goals to achieve them within realistic time frames and targets. It will not just favor only the corrupt few at the cost of the mute and voiceless wildlife, but help in conserving the diverse life forms which man needs too for survival. This is Malini Shankar signing off in Bangalore, India.